Hello, everyone, and welcome back.
You are listening to the ZOE Japan podcast. This is Aneri.
And this is Beauty. Wow, it's been a while. We're finally back in the studio.
It has been a while, you're right.
But yeah, we're so happy that we're doing this again. And today we're talking about online sextortion. So this is a pretty heavy topic, so content warning. This topic talks about sexual exploitation of children, so discretion is advised.
And if you are a parent of a child of any age, 0 to 18 years, and your child has any kind of access, occasional or regular access to a mobile phone or any kind of device that can go online, then this episode really is for you today. So we just really encourage all parents to listen all the way to the end today.
Yeah.
So maybe, Yuri, I wonder, it might be good for us to start just by defining sextortion.
Yeah, this term might be new to some of the listeners. So let's start with a definition. So it's a word combined with sex and extortion. And it is a form of online blackmail where a perpetrator tricks you or pressures you into sending sexual images of yourself and then extorts you for money or more sexually explicit photos or videos. And it happens a lot to young boys and girls.
And you're saying a lot, and I really want to emphasize that point. The reason why we are recording this episode today, after an absence of quite some time, is because we are seeing a dramatic increase in the number of cases that are being reported. This is not only through our ZOE Japan hotline, but this really is a worldwide trend. It just seems like children everywhere are under attack right now. And just to emphasize this point, I want to just quote some statistics from the Cyber Tip Line. Cyber Tip Line is operated by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the US. It is a massive, wonderful hotline. And in their 2023 report, they have received more than 186,000 reports of online enticement. Wow. Now, to put that into perspective, that is more than 300% increase compared to statistics for 2021. So really, really something dramatic that is happening out there.
That is very shocking to hear.
A lot of these cases involve exactly what we're talking about today, online sextortion, and that includes convincing children to generate their own child sexual abuse materials.
And it happens not just on a specific app. It could happen on a language learning apps, online games, social media, tutoring websites. So it's not just through mobile phones, but desktop computers at home as well. And the sextortion can start on any site or app or platform that has a messaging function between people.
Yeah. I think you're right. And it's really hard to define specific trends because it is so widespread. But one trend that we do observe, and again, this is not only for Japan, but is that there seems to be a huge increase in the number of young men and boys that are being targeted. So traditionally, we used to see more girls that were targeted for sexual exploitation, but with the sextortion, a lot of young boys. And many times when the perpetrators convince these boys to send nude images, they demand money. So they want some kind of compensation, which is sometimes referred to as financial extortion. With girls, we see a different trend. Usually the perpetrators are trying to get the girls to send more images to them. And actually, maybe this is a good place for us, Yuri, to just talk about some of the cases that you have seen coming through the ZOE Japan hotline.
Yeah, it's very pick up one case, but typically we have seen where boys are targeted more because they generally have interest in sex and they don't get the proper teaching at home or school. So they just, they just have interest in it. They don't really know what to do with it. But then they meet someone online one day and this beautiful woman, sends you all kinds of messages and wanting to be friends with you and want to develop a romantic relationship. And so they, build a trusted relationship. Maybe sometimes it can happen over 1 hour or 2 hours, but they are very clever. The perpetrators are very, very smart in tricking these young boys to, into believing them that they're real. So their relationship can easily, go sexual relationships, and then they exchange nude images or videos, and they get on video chat and do some type of like a webcam sex type of act. And the perpetrators take screenshots of the child's naked body or sexual photos, and then they start to threaten them. If you want this photo to be deleted from my computer because I'm about to send this to all your followers, all your friends, all your teachers, or your parents, then you gotta send the money to me or something like that. And it's a lot of money, $1,000. Sometimes it could go up to like almost $10,000 US dollars. So it's very, very hard for these young boys to understand like what's going on, right? And they don't have that money, so they begged the perpetrators, please forgive me, please delete the photo, please don't share. And then if they can't pay the money, the perpetrators just tell them like, then why don't you kill yourself? Like it's very, very cruel. And sometimes when a child cannot get that money, the perpetrator told him to get more photos of his classmates, naked photos of themselves. So sometimes a child can be a perpetrator, while falling into victimhood.
Yeah, that is I think the most concerning point for us when children try to abuse their own siblings or classmates because they're under so much pressure from these perpetrators. And I just get mad listening to this. I get so angry thinking of what these people are doing to these kids. And I think we have to reflect on the reasons why people would target children. And sometimes they are pedophiles and they have a sexual interest in children and they want to see nude content of children. But many, many times, this is just a money-making scheme because there is such a huge demand for this content online. So they can earn thousands and thousands of dollars by selling this on the dark web or on different platforms. I think something that has also been interesting to see for us in the technical space with AI is that we are seeing an increase in foreign perpetrators also targeting Japanese children and using translation apps to communicate with the children. So really, it's not just a crime that stays within the border of the country. It is really, really everywhere.
Yeah.
So we're talking about all the negative things here, Yuri, but what would you suggest to parents? What is the best way to prevent this from happening in the first place?
Actually, there are many things parents can do to prevent this. The sextortion is run by type of criminals and organized crime groups, so they are very smart. They have the
organized.
most very organized, and they have the most developed technology. They even share manuals how to trick a child. So it's important for parents to know about these issues, and they have discussion with your child and just revisit your social media and smartphone usages policy, how they can use their phone, for example, how many hours they can use it, where they can use it. Is it in their own room, or is it only in the living room where other people can see it, like where you can keep an eye on them? And what is the privacy setting on your child's phone or computer? Make sure the location service is not on, and make sure your child's school name is not on any type of social media profile. These type of
Even
things
photos,
you can,
right?
yeah, exactly. So you can reconsider these things. What's the setting for my child's phone? And you can also do a different filtering services for your child's phone, and it automatically filters some sexually explicit content. So that's one way to protect your child online. And more for the emotional side, it's important for a parent to have an open discussion about sex in general, because your children will be interested and curious one day, and then they feel a little bit shy to talk about it with the parents, so they go online, they talk to their friends, and what they hear from these resources are just not ideal, most healthy form of sexual relationship. For example, porn, porn describes sex as though some type of violent act where you exploit women and children, something like that. So they get a very wrong idea of what sex should look like. So it's important that you have an open discussion about this topic with your child. So when they feel something is not right, when they talk to strangers or friends online, they can come talk to you. Hey, like my friend said this about my private part. Is it okay? And then you can, prevent your child from being a victim from there. So that type of discussion and sex education at home is very important, including teaching them not to take any pictures of their private parts or never send that type of images to your friend or to their friend or on social media or engage in sexual discussions online. So those things are practical things that you can start doing even today.
And I think the discussion part is the most important part. Age-appropriate discussions, of course. And there are some great resources to guide you on how to have that discussion with your child. It doesn't help that we all keep quiet, and then when the child hits 16, we say, okay, sit on the couch, I want to talk about sex. It's just really, I think that's way too late. By that time, they've learned everything that they wanted to know from friends or on social media, which, by the way, is confirmed by some of our social media polls, that most children in Japan, at least, learn about sex first from friends, and then they turn to pornographic content or social media. And of course, some parents here today might know that their child is already a victim. So if you find out that your child is a victim, or if you already know that your child is in a situation like that, what advice do you have for parents? What action can they take?
Yeah, that's an important point because when a child is a victim, the most thing that they're thinking about is how can I end this problem? And then they can't find a solution. So they're already thinking about ending their life. So you have to stop that first. You have to just support them emotionally. It's okay. It's not the end of the world yet. You still have hope, and there's a solution, and we can walk through together. So that type of emotional support is the most important thing, and they feel so ashamed of what they have done, even though they're victims. So just to affirm them that it's not their fault.
And no victim blaming.
Exactly. Right. 100% on perpetrators' responsibility, right? And then compliment or affirm that they come to talk to you. Just affirm them, and then they just make sure that they feel, okay, at least I'm safe within my own family, within my home, So that's very important. And another practical thing is you can report to the platform where the sextortion took place. And if your child still has the image, report it to the website called Take It Down. And if there's a URL where the content is published, for example, like a porn website, you can report that URL to Internet Hotline Center, IHC. And you can also report to the police and keep as much evidence as possible. For example, taking screenshots of a discussion between your child and a perpetrator, where a perpetrator is threatening your child to send more pictures or to send money.
Yeah. I agree. I think having the evidence really empowers you as a parent to take the decision on whether you want to go after the perpetrator or not. So make sure that you have that. And of course, that is also a traumatic process, right? And it's very hard, especially if this perpetrator is not in Japan. It can be really hard, the legal process to go after them. But there are things that can be done. So the websites that you just mentioned, the Take It Down tool, which is fantastic, and then also the Internet Hotline Center, please check the notes of the podcast, and we will be sure to post those links in there so that everyone can access that. Yeah, so we will post all those links. But I think one practical thing that anyone can do is just to share this podcast episode with as many people as possible. I was thinking earlier, we have a great internet safety guide for parents. It's a free resource on our website. You don't have to register your email address or anything. Just go and download it. We'll add the link at the bottom as well. And that will give you some practical things that you can use. Doesn't matter what age your child is, just to implement a few safety steps there. Yeah, so Yuri, I think we have reached the end of our time today with this episode.
Yay! Yeah, the more people know, the better we can solve this problem together. So that's awesome. So listeners, thank you for joining us today, and we hope that this podcast was very informative. Please remember to visit our website at gozoe.jp, and so you can get more information, and subscribe to our newsletter for lots of great information how to protect your child.
Yeah, thank you so much. Until next time.
Please support ZOE Japan. With your help, we can reach every person and rescue every child.